I wish orchids would have a scent, but they don't. Orchids are simply beautiful to look at. They don't need to emanate scent. Hi everyone, it's Katerina Satori here, beginning this live conversation with adding more beauty to your universe. Beauty is a very powerful healer. The beauty, the subtle beauty, the beauty that you can't buy? Yeah, that beauty. So flowers, beauty of nature, the beauty of a heart-to-heart connection. All of that has healing energies. In this brief Instagram live stream, I'd like to open a conversation why spiritual healing is so important for everyone. And if you and I just meet for the very first time, or maybe you're going to watch this replay, my work in the world is all about consciousness, leadership, entrepreneurship, and recently I felt this deep calling of my soul to start bringing more and more conversations on the topic of soul congruency, soul alignment, spiritual healing. So my healer archetype have been on the background for many years. Hi everyone. And this year it's just deep orientation for my healer archetype to be as public as my teacher and as public as my visionary archetype. So there's going to be more and more conversation about the essence of spiritual healing. And I'd like to demystify that first because I live in the West, and most of my community is from the Western world, where spiritual healing can be deeply misunderstood and kind of like on the outskirts of what is conventionally accepted. And whenever I go to other more ancient land, such as India or Peru or Bali, spiritual healing is a common sense, and it's so embedded in the culture that when somebody feels out of balance, whether it's mentally out of balance psychologically or physically, before they go to a doctor, they go to a tribe healer, because it's a common knowledge that any misbalance in the body is a reflection of misbalance of energy. Right? And in the West, we are gradually witnessing a renaissance. We're witnessing this great return of importance of energy healing, importance of spiritual healing, importance of us cultivating energetic hygiene, right? Energetic support system. So I'm excited about the possibilities of what's happening and what are we witnessing in the world. And in essence, from my perspective, spiritual healing is the process of returning to harmony, inner harmony. And there are so many things on a daily basis that can feel as if they are pushing us out of balance, right? And this is why being grounded in the body is so important. When we wake up in the morning, we do a very simple process of grounding, right? It's the first step, grounding. And it can be so simple, we can overlook that, right? Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I notice that in myself. A lot of times I notice it in myself. The simpler the ritual, the easier it is to overlook it and kind of brush it off, right? So when I find myself spinning or accelerating too much, I remind myself to ground. And how do we ground? Well, 2 steps. First is an intention, right? Awareness, I gotta be grounded. And a second, any kind of visualization process that helps you connect to the planet, to Gaia, the planet who is alive, right? So grounding, very important, or you can get outside. I do it in the morning when I wake up. I like to get outside to my backyard and to touch the earth and to honor the earth for another opportunity to walk on her back. to walk on her body and to experience the miraculous gift of being alive. So spiritual healing from my perspective is coming back into harmony from the inside out. Spiritual healing has a second point, and it's a process of cleansing and releasing. There's many levels to that. Could be energetic attachments removal, there can be cord cutting, there can be different kind of cleansing on each subtle body of yours. Different spiritual lineages give us incredible knowledge about these layers of our being. And different traditions will speak, like Kabbalah will name 10 different layers of our being that we have, as well as Egyptian mystery lineages will say 10 levels of being. We exist on 10 levels simultaneously. And other traditions like Hindu tradition will name 7 to 8 levels of being. It depends. But let's just say between 7 to 10 layers of your being simultaneously exist and operate. And when there is a lack of harmony on one level of your being, let's say it's a level of your mind, your mental body is filled with unprocessed thought forms, right? Or something incomplete in your mental body. Well, that will take the energy away. The energy will freeze there. The same thing with emotional body that holds a lot of what it's called samskaras. These emotional attachments, the old pain that got frozen and one moment at a time where we didn't have the capacity or skills to move through it effectively. So it's very, very crucial when we grow in our awareness to become more and more devoted, right? I love the word discipline. I love discipline. So let's just say discipline and devoted to learning how to scan all the layers of our being with precision, from physical to astral to mental to buddhic to mental causal, buddhic, atmic, and monadic. And to give yourself this playful challenge to expand your ability to perceive on the inner levels of your being, right? And then you not only be able to perceive your outer layers of your essence, you also will be able to open up your capacity to notice any blockages, any rips of your energy field, any attachments, any cords. You can open that ability to see and perceive on your inner plane. And if you already do that, you can continue to expand and elevate that gift and that skill. Now, why is it important to receive spiritual healing, even if you are a healer? Well, a simple metaphor that I like to give. A dentist cannot fix her teeth, right? You may be a gifted healer for others, and still to receive healing support through another is very, very effective, because just like a dentist, there is a limit to how deeply you can see your own subconscious mind. You get to have an other mirror to hold that support for you, right? I practice my own energetic attunement, my own energetic cleansing on a daily basis. And I go and receive spiritual support from other healers that I resonate and align with their vibration, align with their approach. This is really powerful distinction to name, because sometimes we can be resistant and stubborn to receiving support. And what does it prove? What does it prove? I think it's a sign of wisdom to seek support. And one of the reasons why I am bringing the very first group healing experience this Saturday, we are gathering. It's a lovely, lovely group. It's a virtual experience that you can join anywhere you have internet, at the comfort of your home, at the coziness of your pajamas or your sweatpants or your yoga pants. right? And it is called Lemurian healing. Next time I'm going to call it Lemurian wisdom and divine feminine activation. And I'm really, really excited to bring this conversation about the ancient spiritual technologies that are revealing themselves and arising in the collective field in order to help humanity as a whole to make this evolutionary leap to fifth-dimensional consciousness, to truly embody this fifth-dimensional consciousness that we all feel. We all feel on the level of the soul that something is important is happening energetically, right? So you can join us by clicking on my link in bio. You will see Lemurian healing, and you are invited to join us. Spiritual healing is key. It's a process of integration. I remember the very first time I've experienced my first soul retrieval. It was life-altering experience. When I found a technology, a spiritual technology, through a shamanic practice, the moment I found the path of shamanism, it was like arriving home. And for me specifically, I traveled the path of female shamanism. I'm connected to the lineage of ancient female healers and female shamanism, where the sacred feminine is at the center of everything I weave, everything I serve, everything I contemplate. The sacred feminine is honored the most. And the sacred feminine is not a gender. I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about a plane of consciousness that is called a sacred feminine, that we connect through our heart chakra. And we begin to operate on that plane of consciousness. And the way you know that you operate on that plane of consciousness is that you live in a different kind of orientation than regular consciousness. And a different kind of orientation begins with placing sacred feminine values at the center of your life, such as wisdom, such as receptivity, such as unconditional trust, such as walking the path of beauty, such as generosity, such as allowing death and rebirth, and to honor the cycles of death and rebirth, surrender, letting go, joy, sensuality, pleasure, erotic bliss. Body is revered. Spirit and body are seen as equal points of celebration. The sacred feminine is not a gender. It's a plane of consciousness that we are connecting to and begin to live through the qualities of the sacred feminine as I just listed. So it's a beautiful, beautiful transformation and expansion, and the rules radically change. Rules change. And life becomes more and more spontaneous, more and more enchanting. You know, it's a path of a mystic. When you begin to live in alignment with sacred feminine, you are walking the path of the mystic. What is the path of the mystic? The mystic is a being who has a direct access to the sacred and who lives enchanted by the mystery. A mystic is not trying to crack the mystery. He understands the futile attempt to logically explain divinity. The mystic bows down to the mystery of life, sees everything as sacred, everything has divine pulse. And the mystic is seeking to hear and to heal himself, herself, themselves from any incoherent vibration, so they could perceive and experience a greater and greater levels of divine mystery. What a beautiful journey. Thank you so much for sharing these sweet moments with me. I hope this conversation, this conversation inspires you to value every experience of spiritual healing that you have access to. It could be that right now you're discovering sound healing, right? And you're discovering the power of sound, how consciousness is being radically changed in a positive way when we access sound healing, right? Maybe that's your first gateway. Then the next path, you begin to gather at community circles, right? And the next thing, you seek soul retrieval, or you seek spiritual healing experiences and different kind of frequency activations, right? Soon DNA activation begins to beckon you. And all these levels and progression, because our consciousness will be drawn to what we are aligned and ready to receive, right? So really, really beautiful. There's many different layers to it. And if you'd like to experience what I'm bringing forth on the first new moon of this year, just click on my link in bio. We have a very, very lovely group from all over the world is gathering. And I'm so excited to make myself available for this work for planetary service. And I would love to have an opportunity to hold a healing space for you and for your soul and for your heart. On this note, beloveds, thank you for your presence. It was so good to be with you here on this spontaneous live stream. And until next, be well.